Hi there, it's Rena from Rena Davis Wellness again, and this video is a little tutorial, if you will, on self massage. So just some little tools that you can use to help yourself with some minor aches and pains as you're not able to get out for massage, or just some minor things. Give yourself a little self loving, right? So I am going to start with the face. I'm going to move into the upper, the neck and shoulders, down through the arms, and I'm not going to do a whole lot with the legs just because it's much harder to do than the upper body. Okay, so with that said, I do have some oil here. You can use anything at all for an oil, so that could be cooking oil as well as massage oil. It really doesn't matter. It's pretty much all the same thing. Excuse me. So I'm going to just take my glasses off. In Thai yoga massage, we have various sen lines, they're called, and excuse my COVID isolation hair. we have sen lines all throughout the body, and I'm going to be addressing many of those as we go. And we also have murmur points, which I will also address. So sen lines on the face are all through here. They're under. They're here. They're from the bottom of your nose. They're from the mouth. They're from the cheek. So those are the basic areas that we're going to go through. I'm just going to use my middle fingers here. So I'm going to start right in between my eyes, and I'm going to come up over my eyebrow. Use as much pressure as feels good. You want some pressure, you don't want it to be extreme. And then I'm going to come out to my temple and just give a little work. And then I'll come right above that, midway up the forehead, and again, a little bit of work on the temple. And then up a little higher toward the hairline and across. And then I'm going to come to the center of the nose again. This time I'm going to come down the nose until I meet the eye orbit, right? So we're not pressing into the soft part under the eye. It's all along the bone here and up into the temple. And then come down the nose, right to the tips. By the way, this is a murmur point. If you have any allergies or things like that, a little pressure right here is nice. And then up and into, you guessed it, the temple. Come down till you hit the corners of your mouth, and then up right underneath your cheekbone. Once you get to the top of your cheekbone, you'll feel a little muscle in there. Sometimes it's really tight. If you clench your teeth at night or something like that, it might be really tight. I'm going to use 2 fingers here, and I'm just going to make a little circle in that area. I can feel some tightness there, so I'm going to just hold on that spot. So when you find an area that feels like it might have a knot in it, so a little kind of pea-shaped hardness under the skin, you can put pressure like this and just hold it until you feel a release. As you're doing this on the jaw, it's helpful to keep your jaw loose, of course. Don't clench your jaw or you're working against it. And then come down all along the jawbone and maybe back up. If you need more work in there, you can take more work in there, of course. So I'm going to grab a little oil now. Speaking of allergies, mine are now in bloom. So I didn't take very much oil. I don't want a ton of it. I just want enough to, get a good slide across the muscle. And I'm going to start right up at the top of my neck. And what I'm doing, you can see I'm using my whole hand, and I'm just going to pull my hand together to allow my fingers to slide across the muscle and then come right across. And I'm going to come into my upper shoulder in the same time. So all through that area. And into the upper shoulder. You can come also down. Make sure you're not putting pressure across your pulse points. And we're right in here where the jawbone starts. If you put a lot of pressure in there, it's going to hurt a lot. Don't do that. So under the ear, though, you can come and down all along that muscle into the upper traps. And again. Now I have pretty strong hands, so I can do this with a couple of fingers. If you need more, you can do it with more. You can use all 4 fingers. You can also be fisting and doing it this way, which is helpful if your hands get sore. And again, into the upper traps. So I'm just coming right into the area along the shoulder blade. I'm just using one finger just so you can get a better visual. I can use more than that, of course. And dragging it right up and maybe even under. Okay. I'm going to put my glasses back on. So, of course, you're going to do all of that on the other side. On the shoulder. Finding points. And then maybe coming across, up, into those muscles, down. I'm not going to move you into this area because it's tricky. So stay away from the front of your neck. If you find a point, I've got a point right here, you can put a lot of pressure on it and it'll feel, it'll ache a bit, but it'll feel good in the end. And just keep moving with that. And again, remember, you can use fist. You can use knuckles. Knuckles are helpful. Okay. You can use 2 hands as well. And I'll show you from the back. I'm going to take my fingers right down through that's sometimes called the heavenly columns, and then across. So you can use your thumbs to come across and in. And that's all along the occipital ridge, which sometimes gets very tight. It's helpful to work the occipital ridge, actually. If you just lay back on something with a little bit of a hardness in it, you can get into that area as well. Moving into the shoulders, same sort of hand movement. Take a hand over to the shoulder. You're going to grab, move, and you're going to come and squeeze. In Thai massage, we call this squeezing the lemon. So you can come all across. I'm putting pressure into the heel of my hand as well. So I'm getting both sides. And you can come all the way down your arm doing that, actually. It might get a little, for me, I don't have enough oil on my finger, so it just got real sore on my tricep there. But you can do that the whole way down. You can also take the side of your hand and slide. Also in the shoulder here, and slide. And you might lift your arm and just tuck it, and then take right under your arm and get into this area where the serratus lives. And you can do that either pulling across or down. You might find points in there that are quite sore. If you find those points, you can again put pressure on them. This is a really great area to roll on with a foam roller as well, which a lot of people don't think about that area, but it causes a lot of pain. I gotta get a little bit more oil, and we'll get into the arm more. So hand, of course, can work. You can get in the bicep the same sort of way. I'm using my whole hand to just get into that, or the side of my hand, the chopping side. Get into this, the points on either side of your elbow. So this is a great area for pressure, right in here. So I'm going to just put some pressure in there. I'm going to slide down so that I can find the point where it needs it the most. These are Marma points. So in along that, the bone there, you're going to feel some points that might need work. Same can be said on the other side. So on the outer side, right below where the joint is. So I have a little point right here, aside from the big one, and right in there, you might need some pressure. You can hold both at the same time, if you like, and get those 2 Marma points working. This is a great place for side of the hand or side of the wrist, depending on how much pressure you need to go right through that forearm. Pick that up a little higher. This whole forearm tends to work hard, and we don't think about it. Every time we type, we're working these guys. And then, of course, the other side. Same dealio. Save your hands. Use your arm to do this. Of course, you're going to hit the whole other side as well. And then the hand. My hand is all nice and greased up. So the hand, the Marma points in the hand, the sen lines in the hand, come all along each trail, starting right in the middle and going to each finger. So we massage each of those lines. Whoop, I'm looking at this backwards. In Thai massage, right? And this on me, and maybe you, but this particular point in my hand gets really sore because I massage a lot. So sometimes this is just nice, right? Just to do this sort of thing. But if we want to do sen lines, we're just going to come, you're going to see that my thumb is laying flat. So I'm not pointing in my thumb, and I'm certainly not bending it this way. So the thumb is flat, and I'm going to just come up one line, grab that whole finger, and go through, and then the next line. And you can again grab 2 fingers and go through. And keep doing that. It'll feel nice just because it does. And then the thumb, same sort of thing. As you do your thumb, I want you to pull across into this is a relatively big muscle. And it needs some work sometimes. For me, it needs a lot of work. I sometimes can mash, so I can just take this sort of movement in the hand to release the muscles a bit. I can also stretch it by pulling the thumb back and putting a little pressure in here to open it up. So I'm just opening the thumb and stretching across that point. The whole hand can be done the same. Press in. Let it be. Shake it out. Again, take a little of this. You can do the backs of the hands the same way. All along those sen lines again. When I'm massaging somebody else, I open up their fingers quite a bit. It's harder to do on me, but open up the fingers this sort of way. You can come in and back it up and rub along the fingers. And in the bottom of the hand here too. So if you do a lot of yoga, actually, this sometimes gets sore down right here. And you can just rub out that way as well. Remember, flat thumbs when you're doing this anywhere. Try and keep a flat thumb as much as you can, no matter where you're working. Thumbs get overworked sometimes if you're trying to do any self-care. Now, I will go a little bit into the legs. Something that you can do for your legs that's great, especially pre-workout, is just a karate chop all along the leg. On the outside. Both legs into your glutes if you can reach them. And you can do that same thing on the inner thigh. So I'm going to go into the belly a little bit. So I'm going to shift the camera angle so you can see my belly. And what I'm going to do is start with my hand right on my diaphragm and then come across to the left, drag the hand across to the right, and then make this circular motion. You can use both hands. They're gonna go in the same direction, just one after the other, and make this circling motion. This is called sun moon. And then you can also start at one side. You can give a squeeze and then pop your hand in. Give a squeeze and pop your hand in. And it becomes sort of a wave. So you pull in and across and in and across. So those work. A little, just give it a little love, a little circular motion anywhere along your diaphragm, of course. I have an extra kidney sitting here from my little Cindy kidney, as I call it. And I give it some loving all the time because I feel like it needs it. You could also be grabbing just under your rib cage a little bit and just give a little loving right there. Diaphragm up a little higher. Sometimes the diaphragm gets tight and it doesn't allow us to breathe as well as we might like to. So that is just a little bit of work that you can do for yourself. Of course, foot massage you can do too. I believe I've done videos for foot massage before, so you can have a look and see if you can find those. Okay, I hope that helps you to, act on some self-care and keeps you going a little longer. Thanks.